99X, The Morning X, Barnes and Leslie. True crime, Fram, is something that finds its way on this show often.
All the time.
I love legal stuff. I mean, I'm all over it all the time. Something a little close to home went down in Alpharetta.
Wow, that is close to home.
Yeah, you should be aware of this. It's something that is happening. Well, there's a lot of things going on in different high schools around town, but wanted to have Captain Jakai Braithwaite from Alpharetta Police on with us. Fram, be nice. It's a captain. Hello, Jakai.
Hey, good morning, Barnes and Leslie. How you doing this morning?
Doing very good. How's that trouble in Alpharetta? People being nice?
Yeah. Well, first, before we even start talking, let me give you your flowers. Thank you for allowing me to be a guest and to be on your show. It's a complete honor to talk to you, speak to your guests, and our great people here in the metropolitan area.
Oh, of course.
It's very nice.
Thank you for joining us.
We've never gotten virtual flowers. That's a new one. I never knew that.
It's very nice.
Well, this is a thing going on. We're referring to junior-senior wars, which took place up in Alpharetta, and this is really scary. Explain what this is for those that don't know.
Sure. And it is scary. When you hear junior senior wars, like, that's not a new term, right? I've been here in Alpharetta almost 25 years, and ever since I've been here, you hear this stuff, this junior senior wars. So what does that mean, right? So the juniors, they will target the senior's house, and they would basically typically like toilet paper their house.
Yep.
Then it somewhat escalated over the years to maybe shaving cream. So this stuff is obviously escalated. The game has changed because now you have these young brothers and sisters, these students. They're actually starting to carry these airsoft guns, right? So now I know, Barnes, that you're coming to my house tonight. I'm a junior. You're a senior. I know you're coming. So I'm carrying my airsoft gun. I know you're going to have an airsoft gun. And then when we end up encountering each other, we actually start, engaging and, shooting each other back and forth with these airsoft guns, right? But the problem, which is obviously that in itself is bad, that they're shooting each other with these airsoft guns, because they do hurt. They are dangerous. They could really harm you.
Captain Jakai, excuse me for interrupting, but what is an airsoft gun?
Yeah, great. So an airsoft gun, right? It's basically, it's like a version of almost like a BB gun, right? Obviously, they shoot. They're not shooting the metal pellets, right? But it's it's compressed with air, and they shoot these pellets. They shoot pellets, and these pellets legitimately can knock out windows. So of course, if that was hitting cars or hitting your skin or whatever, I mean, it's dangerous, 100% dangerous. But the problem with that is they're so realistic. And if this was a virtual interview right now, I would show you the guns look exactly like our pistols that we carry. The ones that I showed you the other day, it was the exact replica of a Glock. Matter of fact, the handle of the Glock was so realistic. If you were to remove the slide of that airsoft gun, you could put a legitimate slide of a Glock on it, and that thing would fire.
Oh,
right? So
wow.
When I tell you, and some of them, right, Barnes and Leslie, some of them actually have red tips on it, which still don't make a difference. But this one that I had, it didn't even have that. It was so realistic. So any police officer, any civilian, any person who were to have this weapon pointed at them, they would tell you with certitude that gun was real.
So what happened? So these guys show up and everyone's got these guns, and what are they taking it to the tens by putting on ski masks and stuff?
Well, this is the issue with the masks.
Well, we were fortunate in this case, right? Because they were just, saddling up. They were getting ready to go do their business, and they were all congregating in a parking lot of this Mexican restaurant on Old Milton Parkway.
Oh, wow.
One of the employees of the restaurant was driving by. His business was closed. So he sees all these jokers in this parking lot with these ski masks and these guns, and he's like, oh, holy crap. So he calls it in, and the call came into us as a home invasion. Calls get mixed up all the time, but the bottom line, that's how it came in, and it came out people with ski masks and long guns, rifles, right? So again, we know today, unfortunately, today when we hear that, that's business. I mean, we aren't immune to that. That stuff is oh my goodness, this is legitimate stuff that can happen. So we obviously were fearing the worst, and patrol officers fly over there and encounter these kids
Okay, so how many people went flying? So you guys go full on sirens, lights, the whole thing.
Yeah.
How many? How many?
Yeah, I mean, I can't tell you right now. I don't have the stats pulled up here on all of the officers, but you get something like that, you pretty much have all your people going, right? You know,
Wow.
I mean, all of the officers on the ship going, something like that, because, I mean, you're thinking that you perhaps could have an active shooter. Now, to put that in perspective for you, you're asking me how many people, right? If that were a true active shooter or a true home invasion that was going on like that, you're going to have anybody who's on the air, right, probably most likely going that way. Then you have these officers who are off-duty working these moonlighting, right, working these off-duty jobs.
Oh, right.
They would probably start going. And then, again, where the area was at, it was Old Milton Parkway, eastbound, headed toward Johns Creek. So it's close to Johns Creek. So you would, and then we didn't hear, but typically if it was legit, because it's so close in proximity to Johns Creek, you have Johns Creek officers responding. I mean, everything would shut down and roll to that, right? This is how serious this stuff is. I mean, you know, you turn on the news tonight, tomorrow, you're going to see something like this. I mean, you know the response that you get when you see it, when these type of things happen, right? So, yeah, it's extremely, extremely dangerous.
We're talking about the junior senior wars in Alpharetta. Well, what ended up happening? I mean, did anything at the very end? Was there anything serious or serious injuries?
No. And again, and we were fortunate, right? We would just happen to be fortunate that we were able to intercept this before anything happened, right? We got it pretty much right at the onset, but it could have been. And how about this? You know, if you start thinking about this, if they were in the process of, you know, getting to the area to do what they were doing, and then you have officers responding, officers canvassing the neighborhoods, walking around backyards, and one of these kids, you know, with this airsoft gun, which is generally almost a toy, you would think, would come around the corner, you know, the event could have been catastrophic.
A homeowner would do it. If they came around the corner at my house and I went outside to get trash taken out, I would have drawn a gun on them immediately.
See, that's what I'm saying. The homeowner.
That's the other part, my brother. I'm getting to that too. Yes, sir. You're 100% right. We're talking about a police response, right? Because we initially got it. But guess what? Like you just said, number one, we're in Georgia, right? Everybody's got a gun, right? That's number one. Right? Then the other part of that equation is, yeah, like you said, you see somebody walking in your backyard and your neighbor with a gun. You're like, holy crap, are they going to my neighbor? What's going on? I'm going. I'm not waiting for the police.
Exactly.
I'm here. You know, this is a threat.
Wow.
You know, my family's, you know, in jeopardy. My neighbor's in jeopardy. You know, or I want to be the good guy with the gun. Whatever you want to call it. The bottom line is, if this is a recipe for disaster.
Wow. So we're talking to Captain Ja'Kai Braithwaite with Alpharetta Police. We're talking about this junior-senior wars that got cut off, thankfully.
Yeah.
They had fake guns. I mean, they're play guns, airsoft guns, but not real guns. And ski masks. Honest question, serious question, Captain. How much poop did you all have to clean off the parking lot when you guys came in guns drawn on these high school kids?
You know, and see, that's the thing, right? I can't even tell you, because we're talking about kids, right? If we're really having a serious conversation right now, and again, I'm opining when I speak. I can't get in the minds of these kids, but I don't even know if these kids even recognize the severity of what the hell they were doing and what happened, right?
That's the sad part, that they don't recognize this could have turned ugly.
Yes. Yeah. So the point I'm making is, to answer your question, my brother, you tell me, if that was you, right? What would happen, right? And that's why we're pleading to moms and pops. We're saying, yo, listen, you know, your children may not understand the magnitude of this, but I'm asking you to grab these kids by their collar, bring them up to the 30,000 view, and let them look down so they can see how the puzzle pieces would fall here and how the end result would look here.
Were there any repercussions for the kids? Like, did they just get a slap on the hand?
Sure, there were no charges. Officers didn't charge them in this case. Now, again, these junior-senior wars over the years, there have been instances where things have obviously escalated to damage to property and stuff like that, where people were charged. Now, had one of these individuals, you know, went and shot a house, shot a person, or whatever, they could have essentially, you know, been charged for hurting somebody or something like that. But in this situation, because of officers actually interjected at the time they did, there were no charges this particular time. Now, don't sit here and listen to me and have me on the air and think that just because this didn't happen, today that tomorrow someone will get charged for something like that. You know, I don't want to misspeak. And believe me, I am not at all downplaying this to these kids, letting them know you got to pass on this stuff. I'm telling you, this stuff is dangerous. And the worst part about it is someone could get hurt or killed, you know, but you also could find yourself in legal troubles as well, depending on what what happens.
Well, thank you for coming on, Captain Ja'Kai Braithwaite, Alpharetta Police. That's an incredible cautionary tale to parents to pay attention when you see, you know, hey, Mom, where's my ski mask? Yeah, you know, something obvious like that. And Captain, please pray for me. I do live in Buckhead, so pray for me, you guys up in Alpharetta.
Yeah. I definitely will.
Barnes, we need to have Captain Ja'Kai back on for Ask a Police Officer.
Absolutely.
Come on, yeah.
No, listen. First thing, I'm going to tell you, we got a relationship here now, the three of us, all right? So you call me, you know, I'm your guy, you know, let's talk again.
I love it.
To. I love both of your energies. This is great. So thank you for the opportunity on behalf of the police department, the city of Alpharetta, and me personally. So thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Captain Ja'Kai Braithwaite, keeping it clean and straight in Alpharetta. Thank you. We'll see you later.
All right. Be well now.
Thank you. Bye-bye. And that's scary stuff, man. Scary stuff. Pay attention.
I hope they take it seriously. The students, I really do.
This is the original. It is 99X.